So, all right, this is going to be almost a flawless run-up session number 2, which wasn't quite flawless. You guys want to see what I'm talking about? Watch the video coming right up. This Vinny Vid production brought to you by Yankee Dabbler. For all your model railroad needs, check out Yankee Dabbler. Don't forget, 7% discount with BNSF 6951. And by Highways and Byways, awesome street graphics for your roads and streets on your model railroad layout. If you guys are looking for sophisticated model railroad electronics, Logic Rail Technologies has what you need. For a 5% discount on certain items, use code BNSF 6951. Welcome back to another Vinny Vid Productions video. I am Vinny, your host, also known as BNSF 6951. This is a model railroad channel. So if you guys are interested in run-up sessions, scratch builds, live streams, prototypes, and everything related to model railroads, this is the channel for you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down there, hit the bell that's up there, and give me those too. Anyhow, with all that being said, let's get on with the video, so come on in. Alright guys, well I hope you guys enjoyed almost a flawless run-up session part 1. This is going to be part 2. Basically I'm doing this to test everything, to see if everything is working. If not working, I could try and repair whatever has to be repaired. So with that being the case, I left all the things that went wrong in this op session. I left them all in the video so I can reference this back to see where there was problems. There was problems with, I think, the cars, rolling stock, a couple of hoppers were not weighted correctly. I think a couple of turnouts, I think, have to be checked for gauge and all that kind of stuff. And a couple of my locomotives, well, the locomotives run good. I think it's just the turnouts and the light cars that were creating problems. Did have a couple of derailments. But anyhow, with all that being said, I think overall this came out pretty good. So also I want to mention that this area is a 2-man job without a cameraman. If there's a cameraman, it has to be a 3-man job. So I did the best I could doing this video. Anyhow, with all that being said, let's get on with the video. Alright guys, our day starts with a pair of Atlas Jeep Series locomotives. We have a Jeep 40, which is number 2964, and a Jeep 38, which is number 1305. We're going to be pulling into the yard right now, and we're going to be doing a little switching. We need to block these cars a little bit better than what they were brought in as. We're going to take that first gray hopper and set it out by itself, and then we're going to make the second gray hopper that's way in the back there. We're going to put him together with the first one that we take out. Our conductor's out there. He's uncoupling the units as we speak, and he'll start pulling forward now. Oops, a little coupler action. But anyhow, that was one of the little faults that went wrong. And we're just going to take this hopper and we're going to stick it over to the track to the right, and go ahead and get the second hopper and put them together and put them at the front of the train. We are going to be switching the area I call North Phoenix or Glendale, and that's going to require some switching. And like I said at the very beginning, this is a 2-man job. One man running the train on the outside of the layout, and the other man doing the switching on the inside of the layout. Alright, we uncouple the first hopper, and now we're going to pull forward and back it down into that track. These Atlas locomotives, they run fairly well also. They are very, very old. I've got them probably 20 years or so. Never had any kind of problem with them. Alright, so now we're going to back down the track, and we're going to pick up the second gray hopper. And we're going to set him with the first gray hopper, and then we will put them in the front of the train. And by the front of the train, I mean where the locomotives are. Okay, Ricky Racer, slow it down. You're not going to Indianapolis. We're just moving some trains around. Anyhow, let's see if we got them uncoupled, and we do. And we'll pull forward like I said, and we will put him with the other hopper. And we'll continue on our switching activities. This, by the way, is what we call the Phoenix Glendale holding yard or overflow yard. And it comes in very handy when I do switching in this area. Alright, so now the hoppers are together. Let's move our train over, pick up the other two cars. And then we will move the hoppers to the front of the train like I've been saying. Jack, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but I'm not doing car count. It's hard enough just to do the switching operation by myself, let alone do the throttle and the camera and all of that stuff. Anyhow, as you can see, we got our cars hooked up. We will uncouple the locomotives, pick up the hoppers, and put them at the front of the train. Now notice that the locomotive runs fine over these turnouts right here, but later on you'll see that I have problems with a couple of the hoppers going over these turnouts. And I think that's because of the weight of the hoppers, and it could be the gauge of the wheels on the hoppers might not be correct either. But like I said, this is all a test for me to see what is going on with my layout and trying to repair, replace, or whatever to get my layout running where I can have friends over and do an op session with no worries. Anyhow, we're going to back down the track right now, and we're going to pick up the rest of our train, and we're going to head out to North Phoenix / Glendale. The other way, Vincent. Come on, there you go. Alright, now you'll see what I'm talking about here. We'll have a little, well, I don't think you'll see it, I think you'll hear it. I think it's off camera. I think that BN car needs to have its wheels checked for gauge. Because right there, he jumps off the track. Now we're going to head to the siding, and we're going to do a couple of maneuvers here to get the train on the proper track so we can unload the rolling stock and cars that are in the facility now. So we are actually going to move this train over to the track on the right. I kind of messed up when I redid this area. I didn't think about this move right here, which should have been there should have been another turnout right there, but I thought I didn't really need one because I had one that was just a little bit further away. See now, like right there, I don't know why it quit right there. It could be a gauge problem, or it could be an electrical problem. I'm not sure. Oh, I know why. That's because my auto reversing unit didn't kick in when the first locomotive hit it. That's what happened there. That's right. Because I'm using the continuous run loop to do this maneuver right here. And yes, I did not think this whole thing out when I put it together. Now I could have gone around the continuous loop and head the train in a different direction, and headed in the opposite direction, but then those hoppers would be in the wrong spot. And those hoppers need to be right where they're at right now. But as you can see, for the most part, I mean, pushing these trains back, pulling them forward, they're not having that many problems. It's just a few cars here and there and a few spots on the track that just need to be taken care of. Alright, so we're going to uncouple the locomotive and we're going to go back on the same track that we just came out of and go all the way back into the industrial area and start pulling out some cars. Alright, we're going to start heading into the industrial area here, and we're going to start pulling some of the cars out. We're going to empty out all the industries that are in here. The first gray building you see is an electronics warehouse, and the one next to that is LexJet Manufacturing, and then the one next to that is Modular Systems, and then we have Big D's Flooring. There'll be 8 boxcars that'll be coming out of here. Now the trick to this area, if you're only doing the SFP plastics, which has an opposing turnout, Big D's, which is the one we're going after right now, has to be empty, because that track that we need to use can hold 2 locomotives and 2 cars. Now again, because we're on a curve, my couplers will not hook up. I've never had any luck with couplers hooking up on a curve. So yeah, we're going to have a little 050 help. But that was the only one, because the rest of them are all on straight track. So that was Big D's Flooring. And now we're going to go right next door to Modular Systems, and we're going to pick his 2 cars up. Alright, and hold up. Come on back. I'm not using my best camera for this either. I'm using my JVC Averio, only because I didn't want to unconnect everything that's hooked up to my computer right now. So it's a free camera. I mean, it's available, it's not free. So I just decided to use that. It's not 100% 1080. I think it's 720, but it works for me. Alright, next I think we're going to go after is LexJet. That's the beige with the green trim. The roof on the gray building was left off intentionally because I do have some detail in there. I just wanted people to see that rather than cover it up. Alright, and yeah, we got a cell tower leaning up against the window, the building there. There must have been a little hurricane or something going on. Alright, and now we're going to get the last one, which is Sun Electronics. Now this next move is going to be something that the railroad would probably not do, but I don't have permission to tie up the main line, so we have to do it this way. And that is to take this string of cars right back into the yard. As soon as I get stuff straightened out. Like I said, I'm leaving everything in this video. I'm not manufacturing. Oh yeah, that's what happened. I was on the other side of the layout. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. The camera had to be on one side, and I had to be on the opposite side. Then I had to walk all the way around the layout to get back to the camera. And now back on this on the inside of the layout. As you can see, our train is entering the yard, and I think we're going to be going down arrival track number 1. Now this is the first real op session I'm doing since I've redesigned all of this area. So I'm really impressed that it's running so well as it is right now, but there are a few issues that I need to take care of, and we'll be doing that. Now these hoppers here are the ones that are at SFP Plastics, and unfortunately, because we had so many cars to pull out, we didn't have enough room to pull these cars out. So we're going to do a special maneuver run on this here. And remember earlier I mentioned that I had some hoppers that were not weighted correctly. Well, the two that we're going to pick up here are the ones that are not weighted correctly. But before we do all of that, we're going to get our power to come back to the North Phoenix area. And guys, this is only, in real life, this is probably only about a half a mile. So I would think that this would be a feasible move. But again, it's my layout, so I can do it the way I want to. I don't have a ton of money where I can put turnouts wherever to get things to run properly. You see now, I don't know why it stalled on that turnout right there. And also right there, you can see that it split the points. So I think that's just a point adjustment, and maybe a little bit better electrical cleanup on that. Like I said, this is the real first op session I'm doing since I have done the complete renovation of this whole entire area. The throttle, the knob on my throttle is so sensitive I can just breathe on it and it changes. That's why it was just kind of jerking right there. Now you'll see why I had to have those gray hoppers in the position that they're in. It was pretty hard to do this video. Had to keep moving around, moving the camera around to get to the right places and all that kind of stuff. And yeah. Oh, and by the way, we did a no-no earlier. We parked our train blocking that road that you see right there, the lowest center of the screen. So overnight, the crew came in and shoved it forward, so we wouldn't be in violation of city ordinance. This is Roy Hardwick's favorite place to do switching at. But again, like I say, it is a two-man operation. There has to be one on the inside of the layout and one on the outside of the layout. And lots of coordination between the two. Alright, come on forward. Now the way I should have done this should have been empty out Big D's flooring, grab the hoppers at the plastic place, bring them out, and then get these guys in there. But I did it back asswards, if you want to say that. Alright, we got our hoppers. We'll disconnect them from the rest of the train, and we'll come on backwards. Come on. Hello, wake up. Time to work. Yo. Oh, it must be coffee break. Oh, there we go. Alrighty then. Hey. And by the way, the reason why you see that 1, 2, 3 block right there is when I first was running those locomotives out, the road popped up and it knocked the locomotive over. So I had to re-glue it. I'm leaving the sound of the engine, the locomotives in there to give it just a little bit more realism, I guess you would say. All right, now we're gonna, the cameraman sleeping. Hello, cameraman, wake up. Thank you. So now we're gonna put these cars where they belong at the SFP Plastics industry. But like I said earlier, we have a couple of hoppers we need to take out. Yeah, all that scratchy and clicky noise you're hearing, that's because I'm using a very, very old tripod. And I don't care how much WD-40 I put in there, it still wants to do all that noise. Now again, this is another way I have to change my position. I have to go onto the inside of the layout and continue filming from there. And here we are on the inside of the layout now. Oops, we made a boo-boo. The brakeman fell asleep again. 2 demerits. Alright. There you go. Now we're cooking. So like I said earlier, the only way you can do this maneuver is to have the track on Big D's flooring empty, because we need to get 2 locomotives and 2 cars on that track so we can do this maneuver. By the way, these are all prototypical buildings. They are all here in Phoenix. I forget the streets that they're actually on. And the plastics place that we're pulling into now had like 20 silos, which I didn't have enough room to do. Now you see those 2 cars went across that turnout just fine. Now these 2 that we're just picking up, that's another story. These are the 2 that I think that need to get some weight added to them. And my intention was to do the move a different way, but unfortunately we're going to have to do it the way I'm doing it now. Only because I can get 4 cars and 2 locomotives on that one track. That's right. It just makes it more fun to do. Got to think about how you got to get things done. Now here's where one of the problems starts. And you can see that yellow car split the points. So I got to make sure. Now that's an Atlas turnout, by the way. It's not a hand-built one. All right. So the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to take the gray hoppers and spot them where they need to get spotted, and then we'll come back and get the blue and yellow hopper. Now you notice how smooth those hoppers and the locomotives go across that turnout. Alright, now we'll come back and get the blue and yellow hopper. Again, these just don't couple up on curves. Sorry about that. So now we'll take these 2 hoppers back to the yard, hook it up to the train that we just put there, and then we will take the entire train back to Phoenix Mobesh Yard. And also, before we do that, we're going to pick up the 4 cars that we left at the lumber facilities in part number 1. I don't even know what brand these cars are. They were given to me, I believe. I don't remember who gave them to me. Alright, now that we're coupled up to the train that we just put there, we're going to uncouple the locomotives and get to the front of the train. And we're going to head this train back to Mobest Yard in Phoenix. And it'll be sorted out there for further deliveries or transportation to other places. Now we're coming down the other, I guess you can call it a runaround track or a arrival departure track. Either way is proper to call this track. And we're going to switch back and pick up the rest of our cars. And we're going to pull them out partially. And get the 4 cars that were left at the lumber facility in part number 1. And come on back, and you're good. Alright, bring this train forward. Now, like I said, we'll partially come out of the yard and we'll uncouple and we'll pick up the 4 cars that were left at the lumber facility that the night crew put on the siding for us. Make our job just a bit easier. Trying to uncouple this with a camera sticking in front of you is probably one of the hardest things to do, especially because I'm not using the right tool right here. I should be using that gray tool that I was using earlier. Come on, Vinny, you can do it. I know you can do it. Did you get it? Did you get it? Huh? Nope, not yet. Come on. Come on. There you go. I knew you could do it. Alright, so now we're going to pick up these 4 cars that are sitting right on the siding track right there. And then we're going to hook up the entire train and bring it into Mobest Yard. I've never had problems with those Atlas turnouts right there. I think those are number 7s. I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember. So now that we got our empty lumber cars, we're going to do the crossover, and then we're going to back up and catch the rest of our train and head into Mobest Yard. Alright, come on back. Slow it down, Ricky Racer. And we got connection. Alright, let's pull this train out and head to Phoenix. This area here has 5 Pico turnouts and 1 Atlas curve turnout, and has never ever worked properly for me. As you can see, the locomotive keeps stalling on these turnouts. They're supposed to be a code 55, but they really aren't. They are code 80/code 55, and it interrupts electricity in the track. As you can see right there, the locomotive stops. So I will have some custom-made turnouts to replace those eventually. I had do a lot of work to get those Pico turnouts to work nice with my code 55 track. Now again, you're going to see some derailment going across these turnouts in here. Like right there's one uncoupling that shouldn't have happened. And you'll hear me dragging the car on the ground. If you can hear that, it's plain as day. But at least it didn't knock the train over. Alright guys, overall this didn't go too bad. A couple of derailments here and there, a couple of engine stall outs here and there, but other than that, everything went alright. I hope you guys and gals enjoyed this video, and as always, your questions, comments, input, subs, shares, and likes are always welcome. For now, that's all folks. BNSF6951 and the cuz out for now. Bye.